Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Are you ready to go do some pinata art? Neither are we. Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sarah Humphrey. Sarah, how are you?
Hey you, skanky ho. Welcome to my house. Hey, what do you know? I don't know the real chant that Megan and her sister did, but I really like it. And I tried to find it just now and I could not find it.
Yeah, let me
I
see if I
liked
can.
it. It was like, hey you, something about the holidays. What do you know? Love you, bye. I don't know. What is it? I can't find it. I'm looking.
I will find it.
Okay.
Yeah. This episode we're covering Felicity, season 4, episode 10, Fire. How many fires have we had on the show now? Is this our 4th fire? Is there one a season? Is that the thing?
I think that we've had as many fires as we have had Thanksgiving episodes. So,
so 3.
I would say 3 or 4. There's definitely 3. There could be a 4th that I cannot remember.
Yeah.
I think that we're thinking of, like, there was a potential fire with Richard in the barbecue, but I don't think that was an actual fire.
No. Okay, I found it. Hey you, you. I hate you. Bye. Happy holidays.
This is so cute because, like, I mean, like, I do have a sister. We don't have a chant, but I've always fantasized about, like, having a close sister relationship as a girly with a brother. Like, have you ever wanted a sister?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, that was all I wanted. I wanted a sister. I was jealous because a lot of my friends growing up had sisters, and I was always like, oh, I wish I had like a mentor like that, you know. Yeah, I love this. It gives me like almost Parent Trap vibes of like their little handshake, you know, to have something that you can like repeat that is from your childhood. That obviously it's kind of silly sounding, but you were like, it just brings nostalgia to your heart.
Hey you. What? Where is it again? Like, copy and paste it in our chat.
Yes, I will send.
I just remember Skanky Whore, and I think that was my.
That is definitely an addition by you. Hey you.
I hate you. Bye. Happy holidays. I definitely felt very like reminiscent of childhood or teenagedom, and I thought like it was really. I don't know if we've ever. I didn't even think that I knew that Megan had a sister. I can't recall.
I'm trying to remember because the other person that came to visit her was like a cousin or something. No, childhood best friend.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were trying to kiss. That would have been weird.
Kissing cousins. They're from Kentucky.
No, I don't know that we've ever heard mention of Megan's sister, though I think Megan does strike me as the older sister, so I think that worked pretty well. Let's stay on this storyline. Let's talk through Megan's teen sister who's pregnant storyline. Her sister comes to visit, didn't even tell Megan that she was pregnant, shows up and it's just like, oh, I just gained some weight, like calm down. And it's like, girl, you got a pregnant ass belly. What are you talking about?
She was like, I'm just a fan of donuts. Okay, I will never judge anybody because I saw somebody on TikTok and everybody was like, you look pregnant, and turns out she had like a 19-inch long ovarian cyst in her body. So I was not questioning shit because what do I know? I'm not a doctor. But it was quite obvious that she was pregnant. Like I said, I was excited to meet Megan's sister. I think that their dynamic was really cool. I'm also very over Megan's new style. I don't like it.
I think I'm over it too. And I think the reason I'm over it is because it makes her look like she's like 60 years old.
Yeah.
And I think that like, is she going just too far? Like, are we just like, can we just do like outfits, not the hair, or hair, not the outfits? Or like, I don't know. Something is not working very well for me with it anymore. I agree with you.
I think it's just not authentically her. And I think like, the thing is that Megan is more into the idea of being an individual than actually being her true self. So, like, I
Mm.
think that she was her truest self. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was something that like stemmed from, like we know it's a fact that like she was trying to go against her parents who are very like straight laced, like Midwest, like Americana type of look. So we know like she wanted to be an individual from her family. So like was that authentically her? I think Megan's
Mm.
interesting because like I don't know if she really knows who she really is because she's so focused on being original. So it's like if you keep
Yeah.
trying to reinvent the wheel, then like what is your true self? But I think because we met Megan in that more alternative look, I miss that. Even if she doesn't want to be caught dead being seen with freaking socks for arms.
I agree with you. I think she's way more focused on being an original than being authentic. And I think that's the problem I'm having with it is this look doesn't feel like it's Megan.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It makes me miss her old I there was still a way she could have spiced up her look without completely reinventing it. And it doesn't feel like okay, this may seem like a tangent or not related, but
Mhm.
on TikTok I follow a lot of creators who do like quote unquote dopamine decor. I don't know if this is a thing you've heard of, Sarah.
I'm
Definitely
not
not something you would like.
I'm not on
um
this TikTok. Is it just
okay.
junk everywhere? Yeah, it is,
No,
isn't
no,
it? It's
it can
junk
be.
everywhere.
I would say that's more
It's literally
maximalist.
your shelf, if you're watching our video on YouTube, if I had to guess, that is dopamine decor because it's just a bunch of shit that makes you happy. Is that correct?
That's okay. So, yes, you are correct about like the definition of dopamine decor is basically decorating in a way that makes you happy, not following specific trends. Alongside that, you could have someone who's maximalist, which is what I would think you're thinking of, which is generally involves like the more the better, like clutter everywhere.
Mhm.
But dopamine decor is more so like bright colors, like being very colorful and whimsical
Oh,
with
I
the way
hate
you. Yeah, no, you're a
that.
beige girly. You're like, not for me.
Oh.
I like modern, clean lines.
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the way
Yeah.
so I would say like the thing with the I watched this one specific creator who was talking about like once I stopped worrying about like the resale value or what other
Yeah.
people liked and I just leaned into what I liked, it
Mhm.
made me a lot happier. And that's what I feel like Megan has almost lost, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't think she's dressing for herself. I don't think she's doing her style for herself. She is doing it to be different than other people. And I think you can have both. I think you can like lean to the gothic style stuff
Mhm.
while also being like I'm still going to do me and make it unique and make it
Yeah.
different to everyone else. And I think we've lost that a bit.
Yeah. It's just something that I don't think that we've talked about in the last few episodes, but I think it's like, it yeah, it's so noticeable, especially with her sister. And it's like, well, Megan now looks like her mom. But so her sister's name is Lila. And maybe you can clarify something with me because like to me, I think that Lila went away from school. I don't know if it was like a boarding school situation
Yeah.
or because I remember the mom was like, what are we gonna tell the school? And also it was very like unclear if the mom even saw Megan recently, but I guess because they're rich, maybe she like like Megan's sister went off to boarding school or like a girls' school, and maybe like that's why her mom didn't know that she was pregnant. Now, I've seen plenty of like, oh no, like my daughter is like 8 months pregnant and I had no idea because she wears like baggy t-shirts. Like that's a story that I hear a lot, but I'm going to just assume that she like was away from school. Is that
I had a similar assumption
okay?
because I was like, how the hell did the parents not already know? And that was the only conclusion that made sense.
Mhm.
But like kind of wild if she's going away to boarding school and like the parents still don't find out again, unless she's wearing like the baggiest of clothes and no one has noticed. But it was I didn't necessarily expect her sister to be in high school. Like it took me aback a bit because I thought she was going to be like, oh, like 18, like fresh out of school. But no, she's in high school. And like
Yeah.
I don't know, Sarah, the impression I got from Megan's sister is like, oh, I still have an option to get an abortion.
Oh, she
And
was
I'm like,
stupid. But you know what it
girl,
is?
what?
Okay, so I have like a conspiracy theory, not really, but okay,
Okay.
number one, I think that like Megan's sister is probably like 5 to 6 years younger because we know that Megan is a senior in college and
Right.
her sister probably was like a sophomore or junior. So my guess is that they're like maybe 5 to 6 years of like an age gap. So
Right.
I don't really think that I was that surprised that she had like a younger sister in high school because Megan's young, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but hypothetically, if Megan's sister Lila was away from school, maybe it was like a Catholic boarding school, and those
Oh.
bitches do not teach safe sex. I was talking to my friend
Yeah.
the other day. She's pregnant for the first time. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. But she was like surprised that when you get pregnant, it counts as like day 1 of the first day of your period counts as like day 1 of you being pregnant. And I was like, you know what I mean? Or like the
I do know what you mean, but I don't know how she was confused about it.
well, she thought when she like found out or like conception day was when or like something like that. She like was confused
Gotcha.
about like
The gestation when it starts.
yeah, like what because she was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm actually like this far along even though like I thought that I was this far along." And I was like, "Well, yeah, because it's like it starts day 1 of your last period. That's why like pregnancy is really like kind of 10 months long, not really 9."
Yeah, it's all just the
Yeah,
big
40
pregnancy
weeks.
really is
But
lying to
no,
us, yeah.
yeah, but like the thing is, she's like, "How did you know that?" And I was like everybody knows. Ooh,
Because I had
dropped
proper
her
sex
name.
education, that's why.
I just dropped her name. Sorry, but I was like, and she was like, "Yeah, because I went to." Maybe you could cut that out. I don't want to like blast her. I don't think she's listening, but I don't.
I
I
will.
don't want like if I have any friends to know, whatever. I was like, "How did you?" She was like, "How did you know?" And I was like, everybody knows that. And she's like, "No, I went to Catholic high school. Like, we didn't really have like sex education. Like, I didn't know that." I'm like, "What the
Mhm.
fuck? Like, you're a 35-year-old woman. Like, I thought like we all knew that." So, um, yeah, like basically, long story short, there is a world where like yes she could be naive and dumb and not and she's young and she doesn't know, but also this is just the point of like you have to educate your children. Either
Mhm.
I mean school is fine, we don't have to sexualize it, we all should know our own bodies, but also like it's your job as a parent to like teach your children these things at home as well. Not that my parents did because like we all know I was a fucking loser, so I wasn't getting fucked in high school anyway. Much to my efforts and hopes and wishes. I've
Yeah.
told this story before. When I was 17 years old, I watched South Park. They said 17 is a good year to lose your virginity. I said, this is my goal. I have no goals in life,
South
but
Park
this is my
taught
goal.
me this is when I should
Yeah.
have
So
sex.
I was
Yeah.
very much trying to lose my virginity at 17. Didn't happen. But whatever. That's a different story for a different day.
But yeah,
Long
in terms of sex education, you
yeah.
don't know what you don't know. And so like obviously if Megan's sister has been extremely sheltered and
Mhm.
like gone to particular like possibly religious schools or somewhere where they don't teach sex education, she doesn't really know. But it's even scarier then. Like this poor girl is like 6 months pregnant, give or take, has no idea that she is well outside of the bounds of being able to have a safe abortion at
Yeah,
this point.
once again, like the Republicans would say not, but
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone's
And
getting third term abortions, you fucking morons. Nobody's doing that.
nobody is doing that anyway. And so she is like, and she's begging Megan, like, don't tell our parents, like, please, you have to keep this a secret. But of course, Megan is like, what the heck? Like, what am I supposed to do here? And I love Megan pointing out, you're under their health insurance,
Yeah, that was very
like
smart.
they're gonna find out. And I know it is very naive of his sister to be like, well, can't you pay for it? Like, and then, blah, 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 blah. But like, I just don't understand what the sister is I guess she's not. I guess she's not thinking.
She's
We're
not
looking
thinking.
at this as
Yeah.
like 30-something-year-olds. Like,
Yeah.
what is she planning on doing? The thing is, like, she doesn't have a plan, right?
She
She
doesn't
has
have
no
a plan,
semblance of
yeah.
a plan.
I think that, like, once again, I've seen this so many, and maybe this is just me, like, you know, we came from an era of 16 and pregnant. Like, these people, like, a lot of the times they like don't think about it, or they don't really have a plan, or they think it's just gonna all work out, or they're trying to like avoid it at all costs. So they don't even think about it.
Mhm.
They like refuse to let themselves think about it. And next thing you know, you have a high school bathroom baby, and that's the worst case scenario.
Oh
I know,
God.
but it's happened.
I
So
know. It's just I was really happy to see Megan call for reinforcements. Like,
well, yeah.
obviously breaking her sister's trust a little bit, but at the same point in time, Megan isn't that old either. Like, Megan doesn't necessarily know what to do in this situation. So
Mm-mm.
what else is she supposed to do besides call her mom for
Well,
help?
I love the conversation that she had with her mom, because her mom was very like, you know, what will the Jones say, who like are
Oh,
part of the
yeah.
board, or like what will the school say? And I love the reality check that Megan gave her, and was like, you are thinking about the wrong thing right now. Like, you're not even thinking about your daughter. You're not even like concerned about the health and safety of your little girl. Like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, and I also love like when her sister does come back home. I guess there was like a day where she was missing. I don't know what happened. I feel like I missed that part, but and like she meets her sister back outside, which, by the way, they did not. She just tried to do the chant, and Megan was like, "I'm not doing the chant right now. We have to talk."
Yeah, this is serious business. We don't have time for
No
chants.
chant, no chant. But I love that, like, her sister was like, my like mom is going to pulverize me, and like she is going to kill me. And I love that Megan was like, I'm not gonna let her. And she wouldn't in that moment. But then also, how did you feel when like Lila went upstairs and her mom was just like, "Oh my gosh, I love you. Don't worry, I'll take care of you."
Yeah. I don't know. It's like it's a little fake, but I guess also she's trying to be like the parent Megan wants her to be almost. It's better than being like, how dare you? How could you do this to us? Like, whatever, right? I just I'm it's really interesting seeing where Megan comes from, right? Because we've met her parents before, right? The Meggie of it all, and the fake outfit that we saw in what, season 1 was it?
Yeah.
Um, but getting to see the differences with how Megan's mom treats Megan versus Lila, right? Like, I feel like this is you, Sarah, because you are the older sister, you have a younger sister, so you certainly can relate to this more than I can.
Yep.
But like handling Lila more with kid gloves
Yep.
than they're handling Megan.
This is exactly what I was insinuating, Jessica. Exactly. And this is the bullshit and the plight of an older sibling. This is the bullshit. I know for a fact if Megan showed up pregnant, her ass would be reamed with or without a sister support, being like, you should love
Uh-huh.
her, you should support her, you should love her. It doesn't matter because she's the older one. So we would rip her apart. Megan literally had to like fake who she was by whatever. It doesn't matter because I
Yeah.
was so irate in a way just because Lila came up and was like, "My little baby, I will take care of you. It's okay. We'll be okay." And it's like, no, I don't want Lila to be like screamed at, especially because she seems to be very sensitive about the situation. I guess my point is nobody should be screamed at or reprimanded. Everybody should be treated like with little kid gloves in that moment because it's such a vulnerable situation. But we all know, especially an older sibling, that Megan would not have gotten that sort of grace or treatment at all.
No.
And it's specifically the expectations that is put in an older child, or and especially like an older daughter. It is just such bullshit. And by the way, like by the time we get like to the younger siblings, whether it's 2 or 3 or whatever, nobody fucking gives a shit anymore. You would spend all the energy on terrorizing your older child that by the time the younger one comes around, we're like, oh, you're such a special little baby. You're such a little star. Ugh, it annoyed me so bad. But you probably didn't feel that way because you're a younger sibling and you are the little star.
I didn't. I mean, I can recognize this certainly. But I personally, and maybe you'll just say because I am a younger sibling,
You don't know. Okay, go on. I'm sorry.
I just don't think I never felt like my parents treated me and my brother any differently in terms of like the rules that we had, right? I never felt like he had different rules than I did in terms of like curfews and, responsibilities. It always felt very even. I also think like neither one of us was particularly like rebellious or pushed the boundaries, right? So maybe it's just a different thing in my own household. Also worth noting, I have an older brother, so
Yeah.
like could be a difference there as well.
Yeah, I think that it is like I think it's particularly evident in either brother-brother relationships or sister-sister relationships. Like I sister, or if there's like I have a friend that's like it's like my friend who's um a woman and then a younger brother and then a younger sister.
Right.
And like there's definitely like the brother is like off on their own and like the younger sister is like love her to death. She's like my little sister, but she is just like
Chaos monster.
she just like gets away with like my friend literally like by the time 16 had to pay her own phone bill, had to do this and then that, and then like her little sister like everything just like is given to her.
Yeah, see, it's really interesting because I felt, and I think this furthers your point. I felt like because I was a girl, there was always a double standard in terms of my father's protection of me. I felt like in terms of dating, right? That was where I felt like there was actually a difference between the way they raised me and the way they raised my brother. My father was much more protective over me than he was over my brother, and I remember being very frustrated with it and having conversations with my mom and her being like, I know it isn't fair. Like, I totally understand, but also you're his daughter, and that's why he's being the way he is. So again, like there were times where I felt like my brother got babied over me. And again, I don't think this had anything to do with gender or birth order, more so personality. I was very independent from a much younger age. And I feel like that obviously resulted in some different parenting styles. But yeah, I think this specifically with Megan and her sister and her mom, I feels like true to probably a lot of people's experiences. You said your own. And I'm just happy that like Lila does have a sister like Megan because Megan did 1000% the right thing. Like maybe Lila's relationship with her mom isn't great, but like what else is Megan supposed to do in this situation? She doesn't have the means financially or otherwise to support Lila in this. And like she'd be doing Lila a disservice by keeping this a secret when she very obviously needs some help, like it makes sense to turn to your parents, even if they're not the best parents ever, even if maybe their reactions aren't going to be great, as long as they're not like abusive or something, right? Like this is like, I think this is the right call for Megan. And hopefully everything goes okay with Lila in terms of maybe she put the baby up for adoption. I don't know. But like, I was happy to see that Megan at least got involved and did the right thing.
Yeah. Lila said that she wanted to stay with Megan. Do you think we will see Lila again?
Will we see Lila again? I think I don't think so. I think if we do, I think it will be very quick, like a mention of her or like Megan babysits or something like that. I don't think it's going to be like anything crazy. What do you think?
I don't know. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing Lila some more. Obviously, I don't want like a baby like screaming on this show. Like, I don't think that this is the show for it. Remember, it's supposed to be a college show, but Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing her again in some capacity. I really like seeing Megan as the older sister. We know
Mhm.
that she already sees herself as an older sister to Felicity at times.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I did like the
Actually,
storyline, and I did like um really liked Megan in this episode.
I think that's a really great point in terms of Megan being an older sibling. I feel like we've already seen her be extremely protective of Felicity.
Mhm.
And I think that totally tracks with her having a younger sibling that she
Yeah.
wants to like look out for, right? Like
Yeah.
she feels like she is the independent, strong one. And she
Mhm.
wants to look out for Felicity and her younger sister in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Where do you want to go next?
Let's talk through the Ben stuff because I feel like the Nolan Felicity stuff just goes it goes
Yeah.
together too much. So
Yeah, I do like no, I mean, sorry, Ben did not call Felicity back again. So, surprise, surprise. And he's just been focusing on school. I think
Mhm.
that I'm proud of Ben for keeping up with the boundaries that he wants to put up. He wants to focus on school, his finals or his midterms, whatever it is, I don't really know. And he like took the week off from school. Like, I'm proud of Ben for knowing what he wants and focusing on it. And I think that that is something that like Felicity is surprised by, because she still thinks of him as like an unmotivated person and student.
Certainly, I think this is a totally different side to Ben that we're seeing, that when he feels passionate about something, we've only ever seen him have this passion when it comes to like sports, right? Like basketball and track and that sort of a thing, and swimming. So it's nice to see him feel that way about school and be very serious about OChem and making sure he's like succeeding in the class, right? Like he even gets on Trevor's case because he's like, listen, Elena's supposed to be helping us study, but you guys are just like fucking around. Like
Yeah,
it's not
so annoying.
helping.
So annoying. They're like, it's just Hangman. It's
Go
like,
fuck off. Like if Ben already asked you, like, can you please not fuck around with Elena this time when we're studying? And then you explicitly are like freaking playing hangman, like get out of here, truly. I was really happy for Ben. And I think like how did you read the scene when Ben gets out of the final, right? Or this paper, whatever the hell he has to do. And he gets out of class and he sees like Trevor and Elena like hugging, right? Did you see that as like oh, I wish I had someone to
yeah.
celebrate with?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how
Yeah.
I read it. Like, I don't know if I particularly thought that he was like, "Oh, I wish I had Felicity in this moment," but I
Right.
definitely think that he was like, "Man," and it's kind of interesting because it's like I think of like doctors that have like all this experience, but then they don't have anybody to come home to, or
Yeah.
like lawyers or anybody successful, really, like where they, and it's just like, well, like you could be successful, you could make all this money, and obviously this is like not Ben yet, but like it's kind of the same thing. But like if you don't have anybody to go home to and celebrate with, like, is it all worth it? And
Mhm.
I wonder if like Ben was feeling that at the moment. Like, and also it's just like, like his friend, his buddy, it's like he's watching somebody, and it's like in that age in your 20s, it's so hard not to compare yourself to your peers. So it's like seeing
Mhm.
like a buddy of yours like seemingly in like a good situationship relationship. I don't know if they're quite there yet. You're like, man, like I don't have that.
Yeah.
Especially because it was something that recently had ended, but I don't necessarily think that he was longing for Felicity, more so connection.
I totally agree with you, actually. I think you're right. I think this is spot on that, like, him and Trevor had this argument earlier on where he says, where Trevor says, like, man, college isn't all about studying, right? But for Ben, for the first time, it is. Like, he is trying to focus on his studies. Of course, like, he's going to get a little bit distracted, like, thinking about, gosh, it must be nice to have both things.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I like the boundaries he put up. I didn't really fault him for calling Felicity later on in the evening. She went through something really
Oh,
scary.
yeah, after the fire? No,
Yeah.
I think, like, that was it was okay because, he, like, her heard the news and like reached out, and it was like, I mean, he still cares for her. Like they're still connected. I think like it's interesting. Now I like I'm definitely going to talk about that phone call later when we talk about the Noel and Felicity stuff, because I thought it was interesting. But I'm really proud of Ben because he studied, and then like yeah, he was like kind of moping around. I like that his friend, do you remember his friend's name?
Trevor, the
Trevor.
in the class with him, that guy?
Yeah, Trevor.
Yeah.
I like that Trevor was like, why are we waiting around? Like, let's just go and ask. Like,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
great, right? And to
yeah.
see Ben get a 95
Oh
is
my God.
like
I was
so
so proud of
exciting.
in OChem. That is a very, very, very hard class.
It's just, and I think, obviously Javier doesn't appreciate it, but like taking a week off of work, like as
Yeah.
someone who has has difficulty in saying no to things at times and like always wants, I'm not necessarily a people pleaser. I wouldn't call myself that, but like when someone asks me to help with something, I have a hard time saying no to them. And
Mhm.
it could be really hard to know your limits and to be like, you know what? I need a week off of work to focus on school, especially when he's friends with Javier, right? Like I feel like there's extra expectation on you in that way.
Well, the
And I was
pressure
just
that Javier puts on you as an employee
Benjamin, yeah, he
slash
puts a lot of pressure on
friend.
Benjamin. But I was so happy that he was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on my studies. I'm taking time off of work. Like, I need to get serious about this. Like, I know we were pretty dubious, and I still kind of am, about Ben being a doctor, right? Like, we were like, really feel like he should have just done EMT school. But at the very least, like he's very serious about it and he's
Yeah.
taking it super seriously. And that, oh, like you said, OChem, especially like the way the show has phrased it, the way we've always heard about organic chemistry being like one of the more difficult classes to take, to
Mhm.
get a 95 is absolutely stellar.
Yeah, that's
So good for
spectacular.
Ben.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially because Trevor was like happy with his 79. Like,
Yeah.
and I do think that the professor heard Ben and Ben's complaints a couple of episodes ago and made a lot of changes in his teaching. So the first
Yes.
thing that I saw was him saying like, I know that previously this subject wasn't going to be important, but it will, like, we're going to touch on that. I also am expanding my office hours till 9. And then like when after Ben and Trevor left, when they go meet with him to see the test results, there was definitely like a smirk of like, I'm proud of that Ben guy. And
Yeah,
that
and the
was,
fact that he even
yeah.
showed them the scores, right? Like, I
Mhm.
feel like he's not as rigid, this professor. Like, he's
Yeah.
definitely loosened up a little bit. And like, I think him loosening up alongside Ben working really hard and getting a great grade has shown the professor, like, oh, maybe I can adapt a little bit and change
Mhm.
my teaching style, and then we'll see good results from that, right? Like Ben is
Yeah.
a prime example of like, no, maybe I did need to change a little bit, and saying, because he explicitly says like this will be on this
Yeah.
test or whatever, like, and that
Yeah.
was something that Ben and Trevor had a problem with him
Yeah.
earlier in the season. So
Yeah.
overall, I think this is a really great episode for Ben.
I
Like
think so
he's
too.
really thriving, and I'm so happy for him because I feel like we have some characters that aren't thriving in the same way.
Yeah.
And so to have Ben having a good storyline is nice to see.
Yeah. And like going, because I think that, yeah, I think that Megan, Ben, and even Noel have a really good episode. And I think Sean, he needs to give up the Schmegan stuff. It does not work. And the shirts are ugly and he's a dingus. And I mean, I am going to probably really get on Felicity's case this episode because she was pissing me off so much. But I
Yeah.
do think that, like I said, Megan and Ben and Noel, I think are doing spectacular work. Good on them. And I think like that's and who the fuck knows what Elena's doing? She's giggling in the background. They give
Just
this
hanging out with
girl,
Trevor.
she
Yeah.
gives they give this girl no storylines.
No, it's really annoying, honestly.
They say Elena with a storyline that doesn't have to do with a boyfriend that fucks
Get out
around.
of
Get
here.
out of here. We don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's start talking about Noel and Felicity. I think we can kind of take them together because a lot of this episode is focused on Noel trying to put some distance between himself and Felicity just not understanding that whatsoever. I don't know if Noel needs to like make a sign that says Felicity get the fuck away from me for her to get the message, but she's just simply not understanding it. She bumps into Noel and he is in the middle of like trying to get some logos together because he wants to start his own graphic design company after talking to his therapist about it. And his therapist has also suggested, hey, stay away from Felicity, maybe like focus on your own stuff. But Felicity, I think, is feeling, in my opinion, the way I'm interpreting Felicity's actions is that she very much feels alone and in a way where she is just trying to grasp onto anyone or anything to ground her. And that person this week is Noel, right? Like she's no longer dating Ben. He doesn't even really want to hang out with her as evinced by last episode.
Yeah.
And so now she is like, I miss Noel. I miss my best friend.
Well,
I.
yeah, I think it's been going on, but yeah.
It's just really evident this episode. Like
It
it's
was
like to an
pathetic. It was pathetic. She was
yeah.
throwing her whole ass pussy at him all episode. It was
Yeah.
horrible. I was like, oh my gosh, she was annoying me so much. She
Mhm.
reminded me of early season 1 Felicity. Like just the fact that like she was so self-absorbed, she was so focused on herself. She did not like shut the fuck up about her stupid art. Nobody gives a fuck, Felicity. Nobody, because it's shitty and it's ugly
Mhm.
art. Nobody cares. And she's like, I want to do my honors program. I want to do shit about pinatas. Blah, 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 blah. Like, what do you think about that? Like, she was so fucking pathetic. And she was falling around Noel like a lost puppy dog. It was pathetic. It was horrible. And I was just like, she went up to Noel and she's like, I really want to get back into my thing. I'm not doing anything. Like, what do you think about like this idea? And he is like gobsmacked. And I just want to be, I literally said to my TV, nobody gives a fuck, Felicity. Nobody.
Yeah. She just can't read the room,
No.
right?
And
Like
she
when
like
Noel
says
drops his
yeah.
papers and she sees the logo and she just like is yammering on and on and on. And it feels almost like she feels kind of like a one-upper in that way. And I'm not saying she's really
Ooh.
one-upping him, but she
Ooh.
like and I'm as someone who is like talks about themselves a lot, like I could recognize it in another person. Like she can't stop yammering on about herself, her art, what she wants to do. Then she sees Noel's logo. Oh my gosh, this is so great. And blah, 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 blah. And he looks so uncomfortable. Like, leave him alone, Felicity. Like, respect his wishes. But she simply cannot. She cannot leave him alone.
No,
And
the
it's too
amount
much.
I know even if there wasn't this whole thing about like will they, won't they type of thing, or like Noel clearly being in love with her and trying to like realize like it's not going to happen, which it will, but
Mhm.
he's thinking that's not going to happen, so he needs to pull away. Even if it wasn't that, the amount of like energy that Felicity takes up with a friend, it's so exhausting. She wouldn't even she did not shut up about it to anybody, not to Javier at work. Focus on your lattes. You were at work. Stop talking about your shitty ass art and the professor that you want to go into. Oh, she's like, oh, I've been working with this professor for like weeks now, and I thought that I wanted to be in his program, and I haven't done anything about it. It's like, focus on the cappuccino. Oh my god, it was
Yeah.
so
And
annoying.
can we
And
talk about
mhm,
right, she wants to get into this honors program. That's the whole
yeah,
thing, right? Because she's TAing for the same professor that runs the program, and she shows him her art and he's just like, it lacks like consistent messaging, right? Like there's no consistency here. So she is like racking her brain and her approach to this is so funny to me where she's like, I'm looking through a dictionary. Like, and I saw the word piñata. And I thought, well, a piñata, you just like shake it up and then you spill out the contents and there's a surprise. And I'm going to make my art around a piñata.
because it
And
reminds
Sarah,
me of my life right now.
I truly thought that when the professor came in and saw this piñata art,
Yeah.
What I thought he was going to be like, are you cracked out of your mind? Like this. And listen, art is subjective. We all know that, right? Like it is the eye of the beholder, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? This is fugly. It was so ugly and it was bad. Like it wasn't even a situation, Sarah, where I could like see the intent behind it. I truly didn't understand what the hell she was doing. And like, this didn't feel like Felicity's art, right? Like when I think of Felicity's art, I think of the man running into the wall.
Yeah.
Like that is what I think of. I don't think of like messy, abstract, colorful pinata art, you know?
Yeah. And the fact that she had to go to Party City and pick up like 30 pinatas, like, you know what pinata looks like. Everybody
Girl, the fire did her a favor. The fire did her a favor in destroying that because it was fucking ugly. And like, I think the professor thought so too. When he walked in and he saw the fire, he's like, oh, thank God you could just start over.
Like, you know what? Not a loss. I think, like the point is that like the professor wanted her to challenge herself. I think like it kind of reminds me of Project Runway, where like they come out with the collection. It was like, it's not cohesive. Like it looks like 7 different looks. Like if the point is you're trying to present who you are as an artist, like you want to show like a cohesive story. Like this is my portfolio. Like you can see like what my concept is, what my views are as an artist. And I think the fact that like we had like the man running into the wall and like some other like probably other bullshit. I think it was just like a bunch of different stuff. And the fact that she was like forming a story, it's like, oh, she can focus on something. And maybe like the actual artistic abilities are not bad. Like we've seen like the man run into it. It's pretty good. It's much better than a Jack on the couch a la Joey Potter.
Yeah, that chocolate milk all over that drawing. Yeah.
But so the fact that she like went to Noel's office like 9 fucking times asking
leave the man alone. And I understand he got you the job like to put you down the hallway from him, but now he's trying to better himself. Give him some space, Felicity. Like give me a break here.
Please. And I really do like that eventually Noel was like, you know that I said that I wanted to help, which it was interesting what he said to his therapist, because he was like, I'm answering questions that she didn't even ask yet. He volunteered to help before she even said anything. And I think it's because of like what he's used to doing. Like this is what they do as a friendship. Like he like jumps at an opportunity to help her or get her out of a crisis, and she's like, yes, please. So I think that that's just like what they're used to doing.
That's what their dynamic is, and it always has been that way. And I think he is still playing RA to her, you know? Like a lot of it is just him not being able to help himself around Felicity. And I love that he was able to recognize that, right? Because that is like the first step, is being like, this is a pattern I have. Now I want to break it. And I think this is the best therapist we've had on this show, truly. Like, I think a lot of his reads are pretty spot on.
Yeah, the best therapist that I think that we have seen in all of our shows.
That's probably true. We had some bad therapists.
I do not think that we have seen a better. Like even that one advisor that Buffy had for a second that we're like, oh, he seemed pretty good. But then died like a second later by something. Instantly. I don't know what. But by far the best. I love this guy. Like he is so in tune with Noel. He like gives really good goals for Noel to like attribute by. He calls Noel out. Like, remember when you said this? Like, don't you remember? Like you felt like you and like he questions it. And I think it's so funny because he was like, why do you think that you like did that? Like, why do you think that you jumped at the opportunity to help her? And like Noel has no idea. He didn't even say, well, like I'm in love with her. Like he didn't say like this is our dynamic. Like he's like, oh, I don't know. It's like, well, the therapist knows because he's a good therapist.
Yeah, exactly. But at the very least, I like that the therapist isn't feeding him all the answers, that he's like trying to help Noel figure it out for himself.
Yeah.
And at the very least, I'm recognizing that like, hey, maybe I should stay away from Felicity. Like maybe I need to focus on my own shit for now because my life went to pieces and I'm trying to pick them up and reassemble them. And like dealing with Felicity's shit isn't my problem right now. And I love that he's like, again, trying to establish very clear boundaries with her. She can't take a fucking hint, and all goes to hell when a
Well, okay,
freaking
this was the thing. She was like, "Oh, like you don't want to be around me," and or like you don't. She like wasn't. She's like, "Oh, you just want to focus on yourself," and then she's sad because she's like, "Wait a minute, I thought that you were unmotivated like me. Like, what do you want? Like, you want to change?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you want to change?"
yeah.
Because I think like it's like a reflection on herself. Then she's like, wait, do I need to change? Like, do I need to get motivated or like, do I need to focus on myself more?
Mhm.
And I think that she really liked the fact that they were like fucking around all summer and
Yep.
fucking around into the year. And then the fire happened. And I just want to know, like, I feel like it's so uninteresting because we don't know how the fire started and we do not know where the fire was.
I think that Noel said, I think he had said after it happened, it had something to do with like a live wire or like an
Okay.
electrical fire, essentially. But
Sure.
it doesn't explain how this college building, the fire alarms don't go off.
Yeah.
Like he pulls the thing and it does not. Like, what are we
Okay,
doing
I
here?
think that the students could probably do a class action lawsuit against the school
Truly.
because the fire windows wouldn't open, so Felicity couldn't escape out the window. The
Yup.
fire alarms were broken. They're like the doors like locked. Like it was a disaster. It was an absolute horror story. But
It
yeah,
was really awful. Like yeah, we don't know where this fire started. All we know is this guy comes in and he's like, "Hey man, I smell smoke." And Noel's like, "Okay." He tries to pull the fire alarm, doesn't work, and the guy's like, "I think it's in the art wing."
well, you know for a fact that at first Noel was like, those damn kids put in the 100-calorie popcorn in the microwave again, and now the entire hallway
Oh no, is
smoking.
someone trying to barbecue in their dorm
Well, no.
again?
Well, I this is like a yes, maybe, but this is like something that totally happened so many times when I was in college, and you didn't dorm, so I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but the amount of times my dorm room's fire alarms went off and like the fire people had to come because
Mhm.
people kept putting 100-calorie popcorns into the microwave and doing it for the full time. The amount is infinite. And there was one time where somebody did this and the fire alarm went off. You open up the door, the whole hallway was smoky. And it's
Mm.
because of the popcorn. So it happened that they finally banned popcorn
That's
from the dorm rooms.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just I guess this scene cracked me up more than anything because of just the sheer number of fires that we've had on this show.
Yeah.
Like it's is a bit ridiculous, and I guess evidenced by like Felicity knowing kind of what to do, which she tries to touch the door handle, it's too hot, so she's like shoving rags under the door so the smoke can't come in.
Yes, stop, drop,
while
and roll. That's all I know.
Yeah, well, she's trying to like jimmy open the window, which, like you said, doesn't open. Noel luckily is able to get there in time. He gets a fire extinguisher. He gets Felicity out of there. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, all her art is just destroyed.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, but all of this is like, again, I want to credit Noel for not hanging out with Felicity like she wants, right? Like
Okay,
she
yeah.
offers, like,
But-
"Hey, can we hang out?"
3
And
times.
so
3 times. So this is like what the other thing that really pissed me off because like, you know, they trauma responses, they're all shook up. Everybody's okay. Like there is not a casualty. Nobody is hurt. And Noel walks Felicity back to her apartment, which I feel like probably was his only issue. Like he probably should be like, "Okay, bye, see you later. I hope your trauma's not that bad." But basically he walks her back and she's like, "Hey, like, you know, would you want to come in?" He goes, "No." Then she goes, "Are you sure you don't want to come in?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm sure." And then for a third time, she goes, "Are you sure you don't want to come in?" And he's like, "Yes." And then he's like, "I think we should both clean up. Goodbye." I cannot believe she asked him 3 times if he would like to come in, and it took him 3 times to say, "I don't want to come in," for her to accept it. I could not believe it.
Yeah, this was insane, and good on him for having those boundaries.
Yes.
Truly, because I mean, I might have cracked like 3 different times you're gonna ask me. Like, that's so many times
Because you know she wants him to come in.
Yeah.
And he is like, "Oh, I have to do everything that she wants because this is my dynamic. Like, I think I'm like the perpetual RA. I'm in love with you. Like, I want to be with you." But you know, like, so I was I was shocked and disgusted. And this is exactly
Yeah.
where, like, she was fully throwing her pussy at him. She was like, please fuck me. Please come in here. Please take a shower with me. And what was up with her wanting to keep those dusty, crusty,
Well,
smoky clothes?
yeah, she wants
Tell
to keep
me
the
they belong to
clothes.
Noel. Tell me they belong to Noel.
Oh, they were her clothes, but I think she just like took them as like, oh, Noel was my rescuer, sort of a like, I want to sniff these clothes. And so right, so I
Disgusting.
love Javier being like,
Revolting.
toss them, you weirdo. Like they stink, or at least put them in a Ziploc bag. They're gonna stink up the rest of your closet. And then she is about to go to bed. She gets a phone call. Noel has since returned home. He has walked in on Sean and Ben, and all credit to Ben and Noel. They're civil with each other, especially
Very
when Noel
civil.
says there was a fire and Ben asks, are you okay? Right? Like he's not like, good, you should have burned in hell, you asshole. Like, so credit to Ben for not punching Noel in the face.
You know what? I hope you die just like the dad in This Is Us.
So yeah, exactly. So he might have. He walked into a lot of smoke. Anyway, but yeah, then Ben is the one who calls Felicity. And when Javier brings the phone in, Felicity asks, oh, is it Noel? And he says, no, it's Benjamin. And
How many times exactly? Go on, say it.
we know Felicity wanted it to be Noel. She
Yes.
was hoping
Yeah.
it was Noel checking in on her. And
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just
I
so
think
frustrated.
At this very moment, the Ben spell has been broken. I think
Oh, the
from
mist
this
is
moment
gone.
on, she has fallen out of love with Ben. Because how many times has she been like, is Ben calling? And is Ben like, I want Ben to call? Like, oh, is somebody calling? It's Ben. But I think like from this moment on, like she's in love with Noel. Like,
But the
firmly.
thing is, I'm finding it very frustrating how flippy floppy it is, right? Where like she's going to have
Yeah.
this moment of like, I just realized I've been in love with Noel this whole time. Like, she's gonna have that moment. And it's like, bitch, I really hate when people are like, oh, but I cheated, but it's okay because this is the love of my life. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's where we're going with her. I feel like we're
Yeah.
going with the like, well, I fucked Noel, but it's only because I love him so much.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's where we're headed. And it's like, bitch, that's not the lesson you should have taken away from
Yeah.
this,
I think that this is probably like the main critique of the show Felicity is the flippy floppiness of Felicity herself of like, do I love Ben? Do I love Noel? Do I love Ben? Do I love Noel? Do I
And
love
it never
Ben? Do I
feels
love
like she
Noel?
has a moment of being like single and independent and like working on her own shit. Like she's leaning on everyone else
needs.
around her.
Which she
It's
needs.
like
And
so frustrating.
I think like that I totally agree with you. And I think like this is my biggest wish for finale 1 or finale 2 is that like she really needs to finally put herself and her shit first. And I
Yeah.
think like this is why like I'm finding frustration towards Felicity because I don't know, like I think that she's just kind of being a mess. She's a mess, but also I was a mess when I was a young 20 something. So
Sure,
maybe
right?
we all are. I don't know.
There are reasons for all of this, but I don't know. I'm finding season 4 to be like kind of boring and uneventful.
You're bored and I'm annoyed.
Yeah. And it's like, God, there was a fire this episode. I should
Yeah.
have been more like, this is exciting, but it kind of wasn't because it was just like, oh, here we go again. Like, okay, if
Mhm.
it's not Ben, it's Noel. And like, at the very least, we have Ben and Noel doing the right things. And Felicity, we're back to season 1 where Felicity is doing the shit that annoys us. And
Yeah.
like, Ben and Noel are doing things that we're like enjoying, right? So I don't know. I mean, I'm just not vibing with season 4 that much. It feels like we're kind of retreading territory we've already been over. Like
Oh
literally,
yeah.
we've already had like 4 fires. Like, can we pick a different,
Well,
like,
I don't know.
sort of a
Like
thing?
I feel like it's like kind of like that's kind of like a funny signature, kind of like how I said earlier.
It is ridiculous with the
Like
Thanksgivings. Yeah.
like the Thanksgivings, like a Friends Thanksgiving. Like I think like all
Yeah.
90s shows like have
Yeah.
a
Friends
thing.
is to Thanksgiving as Felicity is to fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Do we want to pick a winner? Because I do think like
It's
Ben
hard.
and Noel
It's
both have
actually
moments, right?
And Megan. I
And
think it's like
Megan.
very competitive like this week, which I don't think it normally is. I love how Megan was as a sister. I really liked how she stood
Yeah.
up to her mom. I'm like very proud of Ben for getting a 95 and being like very cordial to Noel and, you know, focusing on school. I'm really like impressed by Noel for doing a lot of good therapy work and like keeping his boundaries. Being a hero, obviously, saving the day,
Mhm.
saving Felicity from her headphones. Of course, I'm going to offer up a team Noel point because it's not that
I
often that we give points to Noel.
No, I'm with you though on this episode. I feel like if we're gonna say Ben and Noel are fairly equal in terms of like the work they did this episode, I'm gonna give the edge to Noel because he literally was fighting a fire. And
Mhm.
like to have a cool head in a crisis
Yeah.
is impressive. So
Yeah.
maybe he should have been the EMT. I think Noel does deserve
And
it because he's
yeah,
doing both great emotional work while
yeah.
also being put in like very scary, difficult situations.
Yeah, and he's like, "You know what? I didn't know that he wanted to start his own graphic design company." So like
Yeah.
he identified what he wants to do. He's making moves to work towards it. I think that he's doing a great job. Good job, Noel.
Good
Look at you,
job,
you
Noel.
little season 4 star.
Nailing it. Okay, let's get into some feedback because I'm curious to hear what the listeners have to say about this episode. So let's hear from DBK. What does he have to say?
What up, though, ladies? So are we going back to back weeks with Noel getting the point? What I
Yes.
mean, craziness. I mean,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure Megan's giving Noel a run for his money, but
Yes.
another strong showing, I think, from Noel. He saved Felicity, and like, is Jess a pyro, guys? Like, she was excited by fire. Like, Jess, you sicko. Like, what if somebody died?
You're sicko.
I mean, you know,
No one ever
like,
dies
it
in these
could have been
fires on
very
Felicity.
bad. I don't know. Okay. Also, like Megan has a sister. Like since when? One Tree
Okay, so
Hill
we
pulled
didn't
this
know
trick
this.
off twice. You know, basketball brothers or basketball
Yeah.
wives or whatever we're calling it. Basketball
Basketball
twins.
twins.
Like one of the most ridiculous things about that show is that they did that twice with the same character, and no one like makes
Yeah.
a big deal about it. Like she just magically has like, is it two older sisters or it's like an older sister and a younger sister? I know an older sister for sure because Nate sleeps with the one when he's like a freshman.
Yeah.
And then she was like a C because it's so funny because they're like supposed to be like so close in age group, and like for the first 3 seasons you never see her sisters or a mention of them. Sorry for my side tangent. Yeah, it was a good, pretty decent episode of Felicity this week. Anyways, till next week, ladies. Peace.
I love that DBK didn't even think that there was a remote possibility of Ben getting the point. It's very funny.
And he's probably raging right now that he was close to getting a point as well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Noel did get the point. He did save people
He
from
did.
a fire, so good on him.
Yeah, and don't forget that Ben can throw a pretty sick birthday.
Never forget.
Never
forget.
Give him all the flowers.
Yes. Okay, let's see what Temmie has to say about this episode.
Hi, ladies. I have to make myself happy. And that's the one thing you can't do for me, Dawson. I'm calling Noel's therapist Coach in this message.
Coach.
Ooh.
Noel. Coach, I'm really dying out here. I feel like a zombie. She keeps coming in to see me. You told me not to talk to her, but I have to. I'm running the plays now, calling the shots. You're fired. Coach. Okay. Good idea. I think most people have friends that they want to charm, share ideas with, basically do a Chandler impression with. The therapist doesn't say let go of some of Noel's expectations when it comes to Felicity. He says, don't deal with it. Just avoid her. Noel is like a flower closing its petals during the day. It's sad to watch, even if Noel is secretly a shady guy, DBK. I don't think Ben would stalk Tyra Banks. I actually don't like anyone on the show. Now, Hermione Granger, I love her. And then Coach, what did I tell you, Noel? You saved her life? I told you to stay away from her. Someone should write an opera about all the times Noel, Dawson, and Pacey saved someone, and the times
Yeah.
Ben and Pacey got into fights. Thanks. Bye.
That's so funny. Like, now that I think about it, it's like, I told you to stay away from her, and what did you do? You saved her life? Yeah, she's really going to be obsessed with you.
You should let her burn, you idiots.
Her hair makes great kindling.
Oh,
my gosh,
gosh.
it's so funny. We also have an email from Jamie. Before I get into this episode, is it just me or has Felicity had a bit of a glow up this season? I don't know if it's longer hair or they're dressing her better or doing her makeup differently, but Felicity looks really pretty in this season. What do you think of her season 4 look and how do you feel about them losing her curls? I don't know if this is a spicy take, Sarah, but I couldn't help but notice in the scene that Felicity discovers that Noel is starting his own graphic design company. They bump into each other. He drops his papers, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Her hair looks so fucking flat. I don't like
Oh.
what they're doing to it.
You missed the natural curl.
I miss the season 1 Felicity curls because what it looks like they're doing now
Mhm.
is they're like kind of straightening her hair and then putting a slight bit of curl back into it. And it just looks sad. It looks like my hair looks on day like 3 or 4 of a wash, you know?
Yeah. I mean, okay, the fact of the matter is that Carrie Russell might be one of the most beautiful women in the entire
Yes.
world. I can't forget how beautiful she was in that one Boy Meets World episode.
Yes, where she's
When-
like with Eric, right?
Yeah, where her hair is extremely long and
Oh, it's so
also
pretty.
and also the movie that the Lost movie that I was supposed to cover and you weren't supposed to watch, A Hard Day's Night or whatever it is. She was gorgeous in that episode as well. In
Yeah.
that movie as well. I think like Carrie Russell's long hair is so pretty, especially when it has that like natural curl.
The volume, bitch.
Yeah. But I do think like she looks beautiful this episode, especially like this is the best that she's looked since she cut her hair. Like that haircut really was a disaster. It was a crime against humanity.
I mean, certainly, yes. I just think like when we're comparing her hair, like you said in Boy Meets World, to her hair in this episode, it's no contest. Like I'm pulling up the
yeah.
look she has in Boy Meets World if you're
Yeah.
watching us on
To
YouTube.
be fair, she is like 5 years younger, so
It doesn't matter though. It's not about the age. It's about her hair. Like they made it so fucking flat and like there's no volume to it.
Where's like do you have like the episode
Yeah,
open?
let me find it here.
Yeah.
I
I mean like she's gorgeous. She's a beautiful
Oh yeah, this
girl
is
and
nothing against her.
such
It's
an
just-
annoying character. So such an
she's
unbearable
gorgeous, but
person.
she's so annoying.
I mean, how many times
Um,
like that's what basically men say all the time about like that's what they say about Taylor Swift. She's gorgeous, but she's so fucking annoying.
Oh,
Shut the hell
stop
up.
it, people. Stop it. Leave her alone. Leave Taylor alone. What did she do to you?
Wow, Jess. Okay, so you know how we have this is a little bit of a tangent, but you know how we have like a bet going on, or we had a bet going on about like the Survivor draft.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, my punishment for you if you had lost was you were going to be forced to watch the Eras show with me.
Oh, that's awful.
Rude.
Okay.
Oh, is this it?
This is it.
She looks very cute, but you're right. Like they
What are they
straightened her hair.
doing?
They straightened her hair and then gave it a little bit of a curl, but she
Listen.
looks cute.
We know I'm all for a braid, okay?
Yeah.
Like I literally have a braid in my hair today. I'm all for a braid. Don't give her this flat ass hair when we have
Yeah.
where is it?
Oh,
There, this is the
God.
other option. Come
She looks
on.
cute, not hot. In this picture of Boy Meets World, she looks hot. If she was over
Yeah.
18, but
Yeah.
she
This is
looks-
not the look.
But compared to her short hair, it is the
Oh,
look.
well, anything compared to that hair. So yeah, sorry, Jamie. I just disagree with you. Onto this episode. Believe it or not, I actually don't have that much to say for a change. I guess good for Noel for finally realizing he shouldn't sit around waiting for Felicity. It only took him 4 years to realize that, but I guess better late than never. I did find it odd. His therapist suggested he spend less time with Felicity when they haven't really been hanging out since she made the decision to go back to Ben after they slept together. I mean, just last episode when they ran into each other, they said they hadn't spoken in weeks. So that was weird.
Yeah, but they're like surrounding each other.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, well, that, and I think he probably talks about her a lot at therapy. So
Oh,
all
yeah.
the therapist knows, like, they do see each other a lot. Jamie continues, this really is a strange season, and we're just 7 episodes away from the original finale. Remember, episode 17 is the intended finale, and the last 5 episodes were added after the show had gotten wrapped. One final thing on this episode. No way do I buy Ben getting an A on his OChem exam. Oh, he studied really hard, Jamie.
It doesn't matter. It's literally the hardest. I've always heard that OChem 1 is the hardest class in college history. Like,
yeah,
even harder than OChem 2. I don't know why.
It's like the same thing as like pre-calc being harder than calculus or whatever.
Sure, but it's like I've always heard that is like there's people that fail OChem multiple times.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Also, before I go, let me share with you that this episode was directed by a woman named Joanna Kearns. She's a former actress who famously played the mom Maggie Seaver in the 80s sitcom Growing Pains. She also has directed episodes of Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, Pretty Little Liars, Grey's
Pretty Little
Anatomy,
Liars, you say?
Nashville, and This Is Us. Wow.
I just mentioned This Is Us.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, I've watched a lot of those shows.
Yeah.
Wait, now I've watched one episode of Nashville, but what was the first? Like, it was
Dawson's Creek, obviously.
Check.
One Tree Hill.
No,
Not yet.
sorry.
Pretty Little Liars.
Yes.
Grey's Anatomy.
No.
Nashville, and This Is Us.
Okay, so half of those shows I've watched.
Yeah, I've seen at least one episode of every single one of these shows. So incredible. Wow, love that. Thank you everyone for your feedback. If you want to send in feedback, shitnightiespod.com is the way to do it. Sarah, would you like to know the title for next week's episode?
Yes.
Season 4, episode 11, the official halfway mark of the season. A perfect match.
A perfect match.
We find out that a match was what lit the fire.
Oh, facts.
What is it? Arson.
Yeah.
No, who's gonna have a perfect match?
Maybe they decide to, in high school they
those
have
tests.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love
Yeah.
That's some high school shit, but I would love it.
Yeah. I never
That'd be fun.
participated because I was like so afraid that somebody would get me and be like, ew. So I never participated.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, it's basically when you take a compatibility test and they like match you up with people
in your high school.
In your high school, yeah. We'll see. That's for next week, and that's officially the halfway mark. So we'll do our character rankings as well. Poor Felicity is not gonna fare too well, I don't think.
Felicity's on the bottom. Literally. Like I'm not she's on the bottom.
So that'll be for next week, I guess, to figure out. But yeah, in the meantime, follow us Shit 90s Pod everywhere. Anything else you want to talk about, Sarah?
No, I have nothing.
Okay.
I don't have anything to say.
I recently guested on the Everwood podcast over on Whirlwind podcast.
Yeah.
If you want to check that out, I had a really great
very
time.
Funny, actually.
We had the real case of the sillies, all of us.
Yeah, I watched it early. I have
early access.
Early access.
$100 Patreon level. Yep.
No, in all seriousness, literally my husband like records that I can watch it. And it was great. It was probably my favorite of the season thus far, and it was very funny, very, very funny.
We had a wild time, so go check that out.
Everybody was in their silliest mood. It was great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where you can find me. You can find us at Shit 90s Pod, and we'll be back next week with season 4, episode 11, A Perfect Match. Until then, everyone, goodbye.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.